Look where we are. We finally made it. WrestleMania 31, Levi Stadium, Santa Clara, California. I'm excited now. I'm excited. Now I can see it. Now it is within my eye line. I'm pretty buzzing. Should be a good card. I'm looking forward to the main event. I know a lot of people aren't. I'm saying it's going to be good. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens at the end of Lesnar Reigns, in complete honesty. That's going to be special. Lots of wrestling fans about it. I love WrestleMania. It's like very ethnically diverse. I mean, there's children here, there's older people here, there's people that, you know, from all over the place, all different kinds of backgrounds. It's a cool deal. Anticipation starting to build. There's long queues to get in here. We are through the security barriers. Here's the official merchandise. It's like a bit of a festival this year at WrestleMania. You got all like the food carts behind me, you know, beer trucks selling food. You've got kind of a theme park in the background. You got the main stage right there, WrestleMania itself. So it's kind of like being at a festival. It's a festival atmosphere. It's nice and sunny. Everyone's there for the same thing. It's beautiful. If you get the chance to come to WrestleMania next year, no matter what the card is like, no matter what you're thinking about the current products, if you're a wrestling fan, you're going to enjoy WrestleMania week. You should go for it. You should come. I highly recommend it. Goldust has let himself go, hasn't he? Here we go. Here's the climb into the stadium. Just seen the tag team title match. It was really good, I thought. A really good opener to the show.
Really good, yeah, really good.
Really good.
That was the right choice to open. Like, I know it's a pre-show, but it's getting the live crowd anthems there. That was awesome.
Yeah,
everyone flew. Naomi flew. Natalia Butterito in the start. Oh, it's just brilliant. Yeah, everyone's in.
just like last year, nice hot opener to the show. Get the fans excited. The battle royal was pretty good. Big Show got the win. Everyone was getting into it. I was disappointed in time he went out early. And now we've got the ladder match to kick off Mania proper. We just watched the 6th IC title ladder match. I thought it was really good. My prediction was Dean Ambrose. They eliminated him in a sick way. Brian got the win. Brilliant match. Really enjoyed it. Randy Orton has just beat Seth Rollins in an absolutely quality finish. One of the best finishes I've seen in a long time. Didn't see it coming. Literally RKO
from out of nowhere. That actually was out of nowhere for once though.
Yeah, definitely. Next match is Sting Triple H. As you can see, it's not even dark yet. I don't know why they're doing this. I really wanted it to go on when it was darker.
Both guys have dark green entrances as well. The Triple H has all the green lights.
Yeah. Oh well. Yes, came down. Now the end of the Raw coming down. This is absolutely incredible.
This is how you overbook a match and make it awesome, not shit.
Nobody can believe it. This is surreal. I cannot believe that. That was an incredible match. Triple H versus Sting was absolutely brilliant. Triple H got the win over Sting. I have no idea why or what sense it makes. Well, that was brilliant. That was absolutely phenomenal. That was a great match. Like a nice little musical bit. Pretty much a piss break. And then they put the women's match straight on afterwards, so 2 piss breaks in a row. What's the point in that? They should have
giving divas a chance. Everyone's back in the seats to watch them.
A chance to do what? the crowd's flat, there's no noise, no one's that bothered. It's all very generic stuff. If this was 4 men in the ring, everyone would say it was just awful. Okay, so far, I would actually say that WrestleMania 31 is better, match for match, than WrestleMania 30. This has been just another level. And maybe it's the outdoor atmosphere, who knows, but I think it's been awesome so far. Okay, then we're back in the hotel room after a very eventful WrestleMania 31. We started off with the pre-show, WWE Tag Team titles. It's Cesaro and Kid, Los Matadores, the Usos and the New Day. I thought it was a good match. I do enjoy these multi-man tag team matches because you can do a lot of false finishes where you've hit like a double finisher on a guy and then he doesn't have to kick out, so you still look strong when someone else comes in, interferes, and you can have it, you know, all the different blind tags and all that kind of fun stuff that you can do. I really enjoyed that one.
I found it, first of all, interesting that Tyson and Kidd got the biggest pop by far. You know, there's 3 face teams and 1 heel team, and the heel team were clearly the popular one on the night, which kind of I expected, but I just found it interesting how big the gap was. They did a good Tower of Doom and a few good spots like that. Yeah, I really enjoyed the match.
Next up, we had the 30-man Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial thing for the big trophy. Mizdow was so over, you know, through the entire thing. I think he was a favourite for most people in the crowd. I was really looking forward to seeing Itami in the ring, but the problem was he was eliminated quite early on. Came down to the final 3, Miz, Sandow and the Big Show. Sandow and Miz should have eliminated the Big Show. They should have done that, and then it should have gone down. That would have been the smart thing to do, but for some reason, after months and months and months of putting up with Miz's shit, basically, he just decides, in the biggest chance he gets to do anything decent, nope, this is when I'm going to lose it, and I'm going to throw him out then, and then, oops, I'm just going to lose my biggest chance because now it's me against the Big Show. And the Big Show got the win.
I think Curtis Axel could have made a bit of an impact on the match at least after all the Axelmania stuff.
With all the build-up with the Axelmania stuff, he either had to win or something like that worked, because
Yeah,
it got quite a good reaction, you know,
Yeah.
all the fans chanting him up the ramp, you know,
Yeah.
like having the little protest chanting Axelmania and stuff like that. I think.
What happened with Axel?
Oh yeah, we didn't actually tell him. Basically, you know, he got in last and he entered the ring last, and he's, you know, really showing off, and he's getting the fans, you know, and stuff like that. And then everyone picked him up, crowd surfed him and threw him out.
Literally everyone.
Yeah, like as many as could get hands on him, basically. Yeah.
Bo Dallas eliminated somebody, then he ran around the ring with his arms aloft in the air, like, you know, he just won some sort of championship game, and he's running around celebrating. And I do enjoy that because it's just so obnoxious that, like, you have to enjoy it, really, don't you?
To be honest, because I wasn't really paying attention at him doing that, must have been watching Saturday. I actually thought he eliminated himself in like the emotion. I thought he stepped over the top rope and was running around. I thought that would have been funny if he had done that. Like, stepped over and just ran around the ring, and then was about to get back in, and the ref stopped him and just said, like, you've eliminated yourself. I thought that would have been quite funny.
One moment I liked is they referenced back to last year with Cesaro and Big Show.
Yeah.
So they did a little spot where Cesaro again lifted him, but instead of obviously eliminating this time, Big Show eliminated him to get a little revenge. So I like the fact they played into that from last year. That was a good little moment.
Now that the Big Show's won the title, I mean, not the title, the match, which is inevitable really with the comparisons to Andre the Giant, I'll be interested to see what they do next year with it, because they've had Big Show going over the top road, that was the big moment, I've had him win it. Is it just going to be, like, what can they do next year?
I think that they could have this every single year, and say for the next 5 years, Big Show could just win the next 4. Although to the fans it won't be like a great moment, it will mean that much more when someone finally does win it again, if they did go that route, because that was Andre the Giant's big thing, was he used to win Battle Royal matches, so that's why they named this after him, and it was basically just a pre-show Battle Royal that they used to do for years and years and years until they started to give it a bit of prestige, you know, give it a name, so it now kind of means a little bit more. So they could make a Big Show, just have him do the same thing where he always wins this Battle Royal. I don't think anyone really cares if he wins it every year, because in complete honesty, this match doesn't really matter. Cesaro won it last year and it did absolutely nothing for his career. Big Show's won it this year, it's going to do nothing for him, so it's literally just a chance to get all the guys on the card, as many as possible, and, you know, it just serves its purpose. Then we had the America the Beautiful by someone I don't really know. You know, that was as English people, we are all just a bit like, okay, let's just get this over with, it's boring me. Then the show itself started off with the Intercontinental Title ladder match. Now let's see if I can remember all these off the top of my head. Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Luke Harper, R-Truth, Wade Barrett and Stardust. There's your 7. This is a good match. Typical ladder match. There was some very good spots in there, but like I say, because I was there live and so many different things are going on live in front of you, I couldn't keep up with every single thing, so I didn't get the most out of it, but I will be going back and watching that and hopefully it'll be good. Bryan gets the win, so now we've got Intercontinental Champion for the very first time, Daniel Bryan, and before, because we'll forget about it later on, before I move on, they did a segment later on in the show where, you know, he met up with Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, Bret Hart, and then all these old timers doing the yes, yes, yes. Farouk Ron Simmons comes in and he does the damn, and then that was a nice little segment as well.
I missed Dean Ambrose going through the ladder because I was watching something else, so a bit annoyed at that. And I also liked the spot with Dolph and Bryan. They were both standing on the top of the ladder and literally headbutted each other for about 30 seconds. Thought that was cool, and I kind of expected them to both fall off, but Daniel Bryan stayed up there.
You covered it, a really, really good match, but like you say, watching it back with the camera focused on what you should be watching on the TV cut, as well, the live cut kind of thing, is going to be you're going to see a lot of things in that match that you missed, you know, more so than any other match of the night, really.
Next up, we had Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. Now, this was a match that it was a confusing one going in because we all know how Vince McMahon likes to book stuff, especially on WrestleManias. And again, I hark back to Owen Hart versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 10, and then Bret Hart losing to Owen, and then going on to the main event to beat Yokozuna for the title. So this is one where I kind of thought to myself, if Rollins is going to win later on, he'll lose this match. But I didn't think he was going to be cashing in. But this match itself, Orton got the win. Good solid performance from both men, and an incredible finish. Do really like to go on about this RKO out of nowhere business, when in actuality it's not really out of nowhere. You can see it coming a mile off usually. But that, I don't think anyone in the entire building saw what was coming. I thought it was an absolutely brilliant spot to explain it, where Seth Rollins goes for the curb stomp, and the strength it would have taken from both of them for, as he's got his leg on Orton's back, for Orton to push up, and the air that Rollins got by jumping up in the air and then coming back down, bam, getting nailed in that RKO, and Randy Orton getting the pin. Phenomenal. Really enjoyed that match and that finish.
Yeah, we were saying after that, we were discussing, like, after the match, in between two matches, you know, previous really good RKOs, and we couldn't think of one that was better because of the genuine surprise factor of it. It was one of the best finishes to a match, you know, I've seen in a long time in terms of the spot. Really, really, really good, yeah.
Like, you could sense, like, the whole, like, stadium, everyone was just like, it was just coming from nowhere, wasn't it? Just
it, yeah.
No one literally expected it. It was just amazing. Like,
I thought these two actually had a really good match. They didn't get that long, they got about 15 minutes, but the chemistry they both had in the ring was really good, I thought. So, I thought the match was really good for the time they were given, and again, the RKO out of nowhere was pretty great.
One thing I enjoyed, because I said as the entrances were going on, didn't I wish these two would just have a one-on-one match and put on a really good match. And they did the spot with J&J Security where they did the double DDC off the apron, and they were basically out of the match for most of it. I know they came in near the end.
he even an RKO as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wasn't on
he
near the
jumped
end.
off the oh, was it?
Yeah, that was right.
Oh,
What I'm saying is near the beginning of the match, he
Yeah.
took them both out and they lay on the floor
Oh, yeah.
for a good 2/3 of the match. So it was like a good one-on-one match instead of them all constantly being involved, which I did like.
Okay, so the third match on the card, this really surprised me that it went on so early, but it was Triple H versus Sting. Sting came down to the ring first, and I'll be completely honest with you, I completely marked out. I could not believe that we were seeing Sting finally on this grand stage in front of 70,000+ people. It was a special moment, and Sting came down to the ring and they were all cheering and chanting for him, and then Triple H's entrance hit. And it was Terminator themed, and it was absolutely phenomenal. To the point where by the time he got to the ring, everyone was marking out for him as well. So everyone in the arena was loving Sting and loving Triple H. And before it even touched, the fans were chanting, "This is awesome," because the fact that we were seeing these two let's face it, legends in pro wrestling in the ring together for the first proper titles, and now they're both in front of 70,000 people, and it delivered. It really did deliver. There's many moments on this show that I could not believe. The first one was the RKO out of nowhere. The second one is when Sting has Triple H in the Scorpion Deathlock, and the D-Generation X theme tune hits, and then out sprints to the ring of the New Age Outlaws and X-Pac, and that was an Undertaker kind of losing his streak, kind of not on that level, but it was on that shot level, on that kind of shot moment. Like, I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now, that these three guys are getting involved in the match, and we've seen a kind of D-Generation X style Triple H. Shawn Michaels got involved later on. NWO got involved. Sting broke the sledgehammer with his baseball bat, and it ended up going down with a Triple H win.
I still think that was the only thing I sort of disagreed with on the show, was the end of the match. The match was phenomenal, not complaining about the match. I just feel Sting probably should have won overall. But yeah, there was so many moments over the whole show, wasn't there, where you're like, I can't believe this is happening, but a good half of them were in that match. You know, it was just one after another after another. That match was there to pop the crowd over and over again, basically. It was just amazing. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
I liked the handshake at the end as well. It was just like the bit of mutual respect between the two wrestlers.
But they still had a bit of tension in it, didn't they? They kind of got nose to nose and shook hands. They didn't like each other.
It was like, job done, well done. It was the respect was there as well as the little rivalry.
I think too often these days, when you get a handshake at the end of a match, they hug it out and everything, and they're suddenly best friends. Whereas these two just shook hands like, yeah, well played, you know, kind of thing. It was a bit more.
Well, you don't like the
there was a bit more respect.
But you don't like the person, but you still respect that. There's quite a good show kind of thing.
The handshake in that match, it kind of reminded me of the way they built it up with all the tension and all that. The way it built that up was kind of like, you know, when you see like two groups of like blokes, and like they don't have anything against each other, but one guy from this fucking set of blokes and one guy from that bloke, they've got a real problem. So like one guy emerges from the front of one group and one guy emerges, and they've both got the mates backing them up behind them, and that's what that felt like. It felt like a real moment of like, you got your boys behind you, I got my boys behind you, and then they slowly met in the middle and like shook each other's hand. It was a nice moment.
This was a really good match, to be honest. It was basically it was a match from the 1990s, to be honest. It was booked like an Attitude Era match. There was so many run-ins, weapons being used left, right, and centre. It was overbooked, but in a good way. Vince McMahon these days, he likes to do this thing where he likes to surprise everyone every year. He'll have one moment where you won't see it coming, and he'll literally say, right, everyone expects this, so I'll just go this way. Last year was a streak ending, and this year it was Triple H.
Seeing Hogan back in the black and white was a good moment.
Next up, we had like a bit of a musical performance. It was Travis Barker and Skylar Grey to start it, and then it was Travis Barker and Kid Ink to finish it. They both did a song each. Travis Barker, I personally believe to be the best drummer in the world. Skylar Grey, I'm a fan of her work, the stuff she's doing with Lupe Fiasco in Words I Never Said, and when she did the song with Dr. Dre, I Need a Doctor, and Eminem. Good stuff. Kid Ink, don't really know too much about him, but I do like the WrestleMania theme song. Nothing really too much to say about this. I know Adele was excited to see Kid Ink.
I think they knew booking the surprise win for Triple H, because I think most people were surprised by it. And just the way it all went down, the ending of that match would be a bit of a come down from the match itself. It would deflate the crowd a little bit, so it was a good spot to put a break in. You know, just let everyone regather themselves a little bit, you know, and get hyped up for the next part of the card. I think it was well placed, the break, or the match before it was well selected one way or the other. It was a good decision to do it that way.
When we came back from the musical interlude, as it were, we had the Divas Tag Team match. It was the Bella Twins versus Paige and AJ Lee. I can't remember too much that happened in this match. I have my gripes with the Divas wrestling style in WWE, so I won't really go into it too much, but I think, as it was pretty much obvious to everyone, AJ and Paige got the win.
I missed the start, but the thing I found interesting was the finish, was Nikki, the champion, tapped. So I assume they're setting up the next Divas title match, basically, but it seems weird to use... I thought it seemed weird to use WrestleMania as the place to set up a title match. Surely that's the place... I know it's the Divas title, and, you know, WWE's mentality is only the Divas kind of thing, but that's the place to have the title match that you've set up somewhere else. but they had a title match on Raw, and then not a title match on WrestleMania that seems to be leading to another title match. It seems a really weird place to put it, but I didn't think the match was that great.
I missed the entire match.
So what did you hear that first?
I actually missed the entire match just like Nathan. However, I just heard right there the result right now, which was AJ made Nikki tap out, yeah?
Yeah, we are on now to the triple main event. John Cena versus Rusev. This one, there was a very good intro for Rusev. There was like a kind of like Russian soldiers out waving Russian flags. He came out on a bloody army tank. One of my gripes with John Cena is that his matches are quite formulaic and they often follow the very same pattern. Kind of like this one did. He came out with the win, getting the US title.
And they put themselves into a corner. There's only one real credible result they can come out with, and they did.
I wasn't really invested that much in this match for the fact that it was basically for the American citizens, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, it's all about patriotism.
Yeah, so yeah.
At the event of the year where they have the most foreign fans.
Yeah, so
you know, in the
I
arena.
found myself rooting for Rusev.
I said I was going to cheer Cena because I liked his character development recently. He's been a bit more intense, and then his music hit, and I just started singing John Cena sucks because it's just instinctive.
I think I might be teasing Lana going off TV for even while she's filming by having Rusev leaving her to be helped by refs going back instead of helping him himself. And he did look angry with her as well, as if it was her fault.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, when he knocked her off the apron afterwards, he kind of
Walked
after the
up.
match he got out and he berated her for a bit, you know, like
And then
had a
walked
proper
off,
water,
and then
just
the
stormed
refs
off.
helped Lana back then.
That was a decent match, to be honest. John Cena getting the win as always. Rusev probably put in... It wasn't that too different to the match from the last pay-per-view. I thought they probably could have made Rusev look a bit stronger. I think, I'm not sure if it was one FU he took, or was it two?
No, he didn't kick out one. No.
Right, yeah, so it only took one finisher from John Cena to really beat him, which normally at the bigger show you normally try and give the opponent a bit more of, say that he could take a bit more than that, but yeah, just took one move from John Cena at the end to finish him off, and Cena's a new US champion and he'll obviously be defending that. And he can defend that now, and they'll probably raise that profile of that title, so that should be good. Whoever beats him obviously could be better for them.
It's interesting going forwards that we've now got two former world champions, former WrestleMania main eventers, you know, people that have won the title at WrestleMania, carrying the two secondary titles. I'm almost hopeful, that they're actually going to start taking those titles a little bit more seriously now, you know, giving them a bit more credibility.
Two of the last three champions.
I'm hoping Cena actually acknowledges he's a champion rather than there's been too many times when wrestlers have been holding belts and not even defending the belts. They've been having feuds and the belts have been secondary to the feud. So yeah, hopefully he actually shows pride in the title kind of thing.
That's the exact opposite of what was happening with the IC title recently. Is it was all about the belt.
Yeah.
Everyone was coming and stealing the belt because they wanted the belt.
That's
it was
right,
nothing to do with a personal rivalry or anything like that. It's just everyone wanted the title.
It's interesting now that you've got two champions in the mid-card who are bigger stars than the world champion.
Triple H and Stephanie came down to the ring and they basically said, "We own Sting, we own you guys," and Triple H is like, "Oh, I'll beat you all." And then The Rock comes out and The Rock says, I liked how The Rock said, "You don't own the fans." That was a nice moment. But then, as he always has to do, he always has to make himself look a little bit better, and he says, "And you definitely don't own The Rock." It's okay, so it's less believable for them to own you than it is for them to own 76,000 of us. Okay, whatever, cool. Anyway, looking beyond that, it was a very cool segment. We saw the thing, was it on SmackDown a couple months ago, where they teased Triple H and The Rock maybe having a WrestleMania match down the line, and that's pretty much what they've done tonight. They teased that. Stephanie threatened The Rock, she slapped him, and then he said, "I want a woman, but I know someone who will." And there's the beautiful, the tough Ronda Rousey. She's everything that WWE want the divas to personify. She seems like a smart woman whenever she's in an interview. You know, she looks good and she's literally badass. So they bring her into the ring and there's a nice little bit, and Rock fights with Triple H a little bit. Triple H is hip tossed, not hip tossed, like a judo takeover by Ronda Rousey. And then Stephanie McMahon is putting some kind of weird armbar. Stephanie kind of like hit the mat and then she pulled it back up again. Don't know if that was supposed to be the spot and they just messed it up. And then they just carried on with a bit of the armbar. But Triple H sold more for Ronda Rousey in one move than he sold all night for Sting and The Rock and the NWO. But no, it was a good segment. It was really good. The fact that we had The Rock come back was always good. Ronda Rousey in a WWE ring is just phenomenal. But also weird that they made her look so strong. Someone from, let's face it is a rival company, even though they don't do the exact same products.
I was a bit disappointed that Stephanie wasn't prepared to take a bit of a bigger bump. Nothing major, just I felt it was a bit of an anticlimax. Like, he was waiting for a move, he was waiting, and she just left the ring, and you could tell like there was groans from the whole crowd that was expecting a bit more from him.
I think Triple H's oversell was fantastic. I'm going to be honest, he took a hit from, you know what I mean? You know, he took much worse in the Sting match and never bounced. You know, I just thought it was funny, the oversell that he gave it.
So yeah, it was a pretty good segment. Rock came out, put a promo.
Whoa. Pretty good segment.
Biggest rock mark on the planet.
This is like the highlight of your entire life.
Right, that's close. I can see what you think of that. It was a great segment, okay, yeah? So it was a great segment, but it was one of those segments that you get where you're left feeling, well, you want more kind of thing. So it was. I'm not sure if this should be happening at WrestleMania. If you know what I mean, it's more of a Raw segment. Do
you know what I think that is? I'll just interject there. Is I think that is because the original probably plan was to have Roman Reigns win tonight. Original plan. So they'd book The Rock to be at the show and they could have a nice celebratory moment. However, plans changed. They didn't need The Rock to be there after all, so they needed something for him to do. Maybe they are going to have him at WrestleMania 32. That's a common thought process. They want to break the attendance record at 32. So starting that feud now between him and Triple H, maybe that's what they're going to go on. I think that is going to be what they do.
One of my thoughts was that segment dragged quite a lot. Like, there seemed to be a lot of where nothing happened. Like, you know, they were kind of going back and forth, but it seemed very slow, the interaction. Like, there was pauses between it when normally someone would just retaliate, you know, and say something straight back. And my thought was because it was before the Undertaker Wyatt match, they were trying to kill a bit of time, you know, so it was a little bit darker for like the big Undertaker entrance and stuff like that. Because as soon as that match came up second, I thought, is that why that took so long? Because it was fun and exciting when the Rock's music hit, you know, and then he went and got Rousey, which everyone knew he was going to do as soon as he started to leave the ring and stuff like that. And then after Rousey got in the ring, it seemed to take forever, in my opinion. It seemed to take ages till the end of that segment, personally.
Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker. As everyone thought, can Undertaker still go? I mean, we saw what happened last year with Lesnar. Apparently he was in real rough shape. We saw that he lost last year. Will he lose again now that the streak's over? He doesn't have to win anymore. What will happen? I enjoyed this match. I do think it started slowly. I do think Undertaker looks older than ever, which is an obvious statement because everyone's always looks older than ever at any individual time because they are older than they ever were. However, I think he looks a lot more than a year older this year than he did than he obviously should have done. It was a good match. Me and Mike called the spot where Bray Wyatt does the crab and then Undertaker does the sit up and he stares at each other, and I loved the reaction of Bray Wyatt where as he sees that, he just collapses and stares at him and like, I'm in for it now. Ends with an Undertaker win. Where does it go from here? Undertaker obviously is going to fade off into the distance and maybe come back for next year and retire then. Bray Wyatt, on the other hand, he's now been elevated. He's now been put in the second highest spot on the WrestleMania card. He took a loss to The Undertaker, the legendary Undertaker.
I thought Taker looked a lot more healthy this year than he did with the mohawk shaved head. Yeah, I thought he improved his appearance. It's probably because he wanted to look his best while he buried Bray Wyatt.
No, that spot, that crab and then sit-up spot, that was like, I know we called it. I said, didn't I, even though we called it and we saw it coming, and even at the exact point when they set themselves up in the right ring position, we knew exactly when it was going to happen, and it was still amazing. It was still absolutely brilliant, that spot. And like you say, Bray Wyatt, he just sort of crumpled into a heap. I thought it was a bit like, yeah, you're the original at this. You know, kind of thing, just like a little bit of a back down, like, you know, like when you see two animals square off and one arches its back and then the other one's bigger and then the other one sort of goes, no, you know, and backs off. It was kind of like that moment where it was like, oh, okay, you are still the big dog kind of thing, you are still the man.
I understand Undertaker's a legend. I understand he probably is Mr. WrestleMania, for being honest. He's won 21 matches in a row. He lost them to Brock Lesnar. And the thought process of then him coming back again, well, why are you coming back? He should have came back and he should have put over Bray Wyatt, I think.
Okay, what I will say on that is that although you can look at whatever happened to Bray Wyatt last year, look at his trajectory in the last year. He's gone from a mid-card WrestleMania match with John Cena. Now, call John Cena whatever you want. Call John Cena whatever you want last year, but that was a mid-card match. It wasn't the main event. It wasn't second main event. But let's just take away the fact that it was against John Cena. Let's just say it was Wrestler X. Bray Wyatt has fought and lost against Wrestler X, and then 1 year later, he is in the semi-main event against The Undertaker. He is gone up in the world of pro wrestling. He's not gone down. You can't say that the loss of John Cena has affected him in a negative way, because he's actually gone up in the roster.
His two performances were a lot more important than the victory, because I've just got to mention, like, Fandango, he beat Jericho, he had a WrestleMania win, and Bray Wyatt's two performances mean a lot more than Fandango's win against Chris Jericho.
A loss to Undertaker never did Orton, who was fairly young in his career when he lost to Undertaker, any harm. It never did Edge any harm. There's a lot of guys have lost to Undertaker and then gone on to have brilliant careers. There's no indication that losing to Undertaker at WrestleMania, I know he's not unbeaten now, so it's slightly different, but there's no indication that losing that kind of match actually affects your career in the slightest.
And finally, the main event of the evening, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Now, a little side note, this is a personal one for us. The aisle that Roman Reigns came down was the next one away from us. If he'd just gone to the aisle on his left, he would have literally walked right past me. Mike did see him when he went to go get a hot dog.
He was like there to me. He was like right next to me.
The match ended with a Money in the Bank cash-in. And Seth Rollins got the pin, Lesnar was thrown out the ring, and Reigns did the job clean in the middle of the ring. And Seth Rollins is your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. It's something that, it was another one of those shocking moments, like, what? They're doing this now? They're doing the cash-in right now? Like, it's something that we have all thought about. So a lot of people say, oh, WWE is too predictable, blah, blah, blah. None of us, even though we've all thought of it, none of us banked on it when we did our predictions. None of us said, this is what's going to happen, this is the exact thing. We all thought, oh, it could happen. But there's a difference between coming up with 10 different ideas and saying, oh, I came up with that, and picking the exact one.
Which is the first time a champion's not been pinned on a cash-in, instantly as well, which is sort of like a lot of history in that one cash-in. First one at Mania, first one mid-match, first one where the champion didn't get pinned. So it's a big deal. When Rollins' music hit, even though there's been so many big moments in the night, that was the one that really sort of made me sort of go, whoa, what? You know, kind of thing. It really caught my attention. Because Lesnar was just sort of owning Reigns, and then Reigns had his little bit of a comeback. He got, you know, his 7 moves or whatever he got in total in the match in. And then I was a bit waning a little bit at that point, and then suddenly Rollins' music hit, and I was like, whoa, this really, like you said, you were like, really, now? It was an amazing moment.
The booking of the match was perfect. You had everything that the fans wanted happen, really. You had Reigns not winning, you had Rollins like winning the title, and you had Lesnar, he never got pinned, so like the damage isn't as much as if he had lost the title being pinned, and you haven't got a champion now that's going to be missing for 2 or 3 months at a time.
When you said about being perfectly booked, I'm not a Reigns guy. I wasn't, you know, I'm one of the people who said, oh, I don't think he's ready yet, and you know, he shouldn't be in this spot, he's being forced down our throats a little bit, you know, and all that. By the end of the match, I was rooting for Reigns. It was booked so well. Like, he took such a beating, and then the comeback was organic. It wasn't like, you know, your Cena or your Hogan comeback where suddenly they're just a bit invincible for a second. He sort of had to drag himself back into it. And I was rooting for Reigns before the cash-in hit. You know, I'd completely switched my allegiance over. I wanted Reigns to win. So they did book it really well because it converted me over the course of the match.
This was really surprising in a lot of ways, more than just a cash-in. First of all, they actually had Reigns literally just get the shit being out of him, similar to Cena at SummerSlam, which I didn't think they would. I thought they'd actually make Reigns look quite strong. No, it's the pun, but yeah, I thought they'd actually have him go toe to toe with us, and which they didn't. They just had him really get his ass kicked for about 80% of the match, and he got about 6 moves in, and I think the fact that they actually only really gave him that isn't that good of an idea, to be honest, considering he won the Royal Rumble, he went on to WrestleMania, and he kind of really shit the bed in the main event in that sense, that he didn't really do anything other than do about 4 moves.
They were going not for him winning the big one there, they were going for how tough this guy is, you know, like he was taking that beating and he was you know, sort of still willing to keep going, and not even just willing, almost enjoying the challenge, you know, and I think they put over a certain aspect of him, you know, they put over the toughness big time.
All in all, I thought this was a great show. Obviously I was at WrestleMania 30 last year and I've been at WrestleMania 31, and I was comparing the show all the way through. Personally, I think it was a better show. I really loved 30. It was a great experience, my first time in America, never mind at WrestleMania. And I actually thought this was the better show. I thought Triple H's match this year was better. I thought, well, we had an IC title ladder match, which was just, you know, great. Compare that to whatever else was on the card last year. I thought this year's card was better. It was a phenomenal show. A lot of people were complaining, saying, oh, the build-up's been terrible. Well, guess what? The show itself delivered, and that's all that really matters. When we go back in 10 years' time and we look at the DVD, we're not going to look at the 8 episodes of Raw that aired before it. We're going to look at this 3 or 4 hours of a show, and we're going to love it. From a fan perspective, our own perspective, we were sat in great seats. We had a great view of the ring.
To me, the theme of the night was, like, how many times can we, like, shock this crowd, you know, like in a positive way kind of thing. You know, you had things like Rusev turn up in a tank where you just looked at it and thought, that's cool, you know, and having Sting debut, everyone knew it was coming, but it was still so cool when it happened. Triple H's entrance, DX's music hitting, NWO's music hitting, Shawn Michaels popping up and switching music and Sting. You know, who thought they'd ever see Shawn Michaels switching music Sting? When we rushed over that, that's huge.
Sting breaking the
sledgehammer, Rollins music hitting, you know, just there was so many moments where you were just like, am I watching this? You know, there was so many like surreal moments. The Rock just turning up. It was just a night for how many times can we get this crowd to think, are we really sitting here watching this? You know, like, but in a good way, not this is awful, why are we watching this? In a sort of, I can't believe I'm getting to see this.
I was probably one of those people that thought this is going to be a bit of a shit WrestleMania. I did think it was going to be, I thought at best it'll be okay. Obviously I was wrong. It was actually a good to really good WrestleMania, but it was consistently good all the way through, I thought, which is rare for like a 4-hour show.
My first Mania, so I was a bit apprehensive coming in, thinking hopefully it doesn't disappoint. I knew just being there would probably give me a bit of bias towards the show, even if it wasn't very good, but yeah, as he said, it's just the shocks all the way through. It was like, how can we outdo ourselves now? How can we outdo ourselves now? So yeah, really good show. The highlight was, well, the thing that shocked me the most was Randy Orton's RKO on Rollins.
Yeah, I even forgot to mention that. That was the first sort of wow did I just watch
that's
that
one that
moment,
stuck out for me the most through everything. It was just, like, it was literally, yeah, it's cheesy, but it was literally out of nowhere. You just didn't expect it.
My highlight of the show was The Rock coming and Ronda Rousey, yeah. Brilliant.
It was just The Rock coming down, wasn't it? The Rock coming out.
Yeah, it could have been The Rock just doing nothing. Could have just been 3 hours of The Rock.
The Bray Wyatt crab and the Undertaker sit-up, that moment was just magic. It was really good. They got that absolutely spot on.
My highlight of the show has got to be Sting versus Triple H. The match was phenomenal. Everything from the entrances, Sting comes out first and it's just brilliant to see him there. And then you got the bongo drums on the stage and that live performance from them, that was quality. Triple H's entrance, which is again phenomenal entrance, you know, he always somehow manages to get himself a great entrance, which is I suppose that's your prerogative when you're the boss. Then they go face to face in the ring, that was great. Then you see DX's music hit and they run down to the ring. NWO come in, didn't make much sense obviously because yeah, he feuded with the NWO, but whatever, they came to his aid to fight off D-Generation X. Brilliant. He breaks the sledgehammer. Shawn Michaels turns up. All excellent stuff. Absolutely loved it.
From what I think will happen, I think the Usos will probably win.
I'll say they're going to Keep the titles on Kid and Cesaro.
I'm going with Cesaro and Kid.
Tyson Kidd and Cesaro.
Mizdow.
Kenta to win this.
It's got to be Mizdow.
Damien Mizdow.
Daniel Bryan.
Dean Ambrose.
I'm going to go with Bryan.
They'll go for Dolph Ziggler.
I think they'll go with Rollins.
Seth Rollins is the future of the company.
I'm going to go with Orton on that one.
I reckon Randy Orton will win and Rollins will cash in.
Triple H and that.
The Stinger.
I think Sting wins.
Sting.
AJ will win that.
Because I think it's going to be AJ and Paige getting the win.
AJ and Paige to win that one.
Bella Twins.
I think John Cena will win.
Rusev to get it.
For Cena to win the title for me.
I think Cena will win it.
I'll go with Bray Wyatt.
With The Undertaker.
I think Wyatt will win.
Undertaker.
Roman Reigns will walk out as the World Heavyweight Champion.
That Reigns wins.
Just to be bold, I want to go with a Lesnar win and then I cash him.
Reigns will win.